Hey, everyone, this is Rachel Bowen from Skid Row.
And this is Snake Sable from the same band.
And you're listening to Tom and Zeus
on the Shout It Out Loudcast.
Oh, boy. Here we go. This is James Simmons. Put that cookie down. Kiss. Stop pressing the button. Star Simmons. Star? Stanley. Is that what he does? Stop shouting. My name is Stanley. He's not what you would call a handsome man. Oh, no. Here come the kiss times. Is that a positive thing? Okay. All right. I'm going to grab me an ice cold mellow yellow. Why do that to the fan? Stop it. Why? Because fuck them. That's what I'm talking about. 617-525-0850. You do? Hey, fucko. Do you like Kiss? Settle down.
Hello. Hey, what's up there, Kiss Army? Tom and Zeus, another episode of Shout It Out Loudcast. We're up to episode 317. Hair Metal Kiss. Ooh. And to answer that last part of our intro, do you like Kiss? Not really anymore.
No.
Not really.
No. Let's back up a second. We love Kiss. We hate everything that surrounds the world of Kiss. That's what we hate. I still listen to Kiss. I still play with my Kiss dolls. So, I just can't fucking stand anything that's connected to the world of Kiss in any way, including our own show.
We're part of the problem.
Exactly.
So we've decided that we love the band Kiss and we hate them too.
Yeah.
We like Kiss podcasts, but we fucking hate them too.
Well, I don't like them. What are you talking about?
The Kiss fans out there
hate them.
We fucking hate them too. There's so much annoyance and toxicity out there that I don't know. We at one point I think we need to do an episode about the brands of Kiss fans,
like a hierarchy.
Yes,
like one of those org charts.
Like when you walk in high school and they'll be like, oh, here are the geeks, here are the jocks, here are the freaks, here are this, yeah.
That's a great episode. Exactly. You can see we're really working on trying to build our audience.
No, we don't have to. We're the #1 Kiss podcast, so we don't have to do shit. We're fine we are.
That's right.
Anyway, Tom, last week we talked about this monstrosity, Golden Strutter.
Stupid thing.
The toxicity and the bullshit and the drama and all the fucking Kiss shit that's going on is still out there, and everyone's still talking about it.
Yep.
But we did a little fucking poll out there. What did we come up with?
Yeah, well, we did a little fucking poll out there for.
We got a little scene going on.
A couple
guys and broads laying around.
Yep. So we said, which of these is more insulting as a Kiss fan? The $50,000 Gold Strutter, the avatars at the final show, the same old show for the end of the road final show, or nothing, I'm a Kiss tard. So I was pleasantly surprised. 48% of the poll said the final show, end of the road, same old shit.
Yep.
25% said the $50,000 Gold Strutter, 22% said the avatars, and 5% admit that they're Kiss tards. Nothing annoys them. Nothing is insulting. Oh, yeah. So good for them.
That's one group of people out there.
Yeah.
That's a group in high school, right?
Party Man says, I never feel insulted. The biggest disappointment was the way they handled those last concerts without involving all the formal members in some way or on stage. It was the biggest gift they could have given their loyal fans. Yep. Our buddy Steve, I truly doubt that any band's fans have been disappointed more than Kiss. The Avatar timing was shameful, but we all know Gene and Paul have no shame. Greg Seacrest, with Kiss's history of repetitive audience banter and set lists, the final show didn't surprise, nor did them not acknowledging other members, because Paul and Gene can be petty bitches. Avatars with a giant cherry on top of that shit sundae. Brett Roscoe says, final show. The other stuff, who cares? But to not acknowledge history at the last ever live show, unacceptable. Yes. And let's see what people had to say in general here. Our buddy and Shout It Out Loudcast Hall of Famer, the great Nige Savage, he goes, I'm a gobble gobble, curator of gobble gobble, post as gobble gobble gobble.
You can tell by the mark on this. This is circa 78.
Tell by the watermark.
I don't want to, give things away, but we're working on a lot of things in Kiss. We.
Our buddy George Harker, listening at the gym. The Joni Loves Chachi jacket line almost made me drop the weights. Too funny. Jocko Johnson with my favorite Twitter handle, Game Show Lover. Festivus came early this year. We were just missing that Hall of Famer drummer guy. Great episode as always.
We certainly were not missing him.
And then I love this one from Ken in Satan Service in response to that podcast. He just goes, Richard Marx sucks. Oh, God. Okay, well, here's a good one.
What are you talking about? One of the greatest songwriters of the last 30 years.
Yeah, there are people we know who legitimately say that, and we still love you, even though that's a horrendous take, but that's okay. Well, all right, maybe love is a strong word. Our buddy Steve chimes in again here, Zeus. He's on your side. He says, I'm the same as you, Zeus. I have to take iron tablets too, as well as that horrendous smell. They turn my shit jet black. It's like giving birth to a fucking monster. Thanks for making me comment of the week. You guys are the absolute best. All right, and that's all we got.
I've been looking at the. Hello?
That's a great way to sign off.
I didn't know Ace was trying to come on here, but apparently.
Oh, God.
Tom, let's go to our Book of Face comments. All right.
Okay.
Adam Nierenberg, Tom and Zeus, at least once an episode you make me spit my coffee while laughing. That is why you don't give Kiss foot rubs. And that is what we get from those that do. See? People get it.
That's right. Adam always gets it.
Phanes Akratides, the Greek Thunder from Down Under. Here we are, nearly a year and a half out from the last show. No live album DVD, yet we get this diabolical release. Come on, man. Is that what Pop House was inspired to do by talking to the, in quotes, the fans?
Yep.
It's a great idea.
It's not that bad.
Let's look at it from the other side. Bobby Kenner. Boys, you had me laughing right away on this one. I think after Zeus's opening comments, this episode was definitely worth a deuce. I'm not sure if I laughed harder at that or Tom's laughter when Zeus does those sound drops from Paul. In all seriousness, I'm with you on the alienation and anger at 50,000 Gold Records does to the normal fan. On the upside, I have and always will be a Kiss fan, but listen to you guys absolutely makes me a bigger fan and keeps me in this Kiss world. Yes, because we're fueled by your hate.
That's
and
right.
We love it. And again, we love Kiss too, but they give us a lot to bitch about. So we're going to do that.
Sometimes I think we care about them too much, which is why we get so angry.
Yeah. The great Jeff Kinsley. Lots of good laughs on this one. I agree with you. It looks like a test of the market, trying to figure out how many white-collared idiots they have amongst the blue-collared masses of Kiss-tards. Well, they'll definitely get 5 of them. Let's say that.
Yeah. Yep.
Ronnie Bacharski. Oh, no. Paul and Gene can eat all of my balls.
All of them. Okay.
Who the hell in their right mind would buy this shit? When those two pricks have the money and are probably too cheap to buy it themselves. I'm sorry, but after Kiss retired, I retired giving them any more of my money. Like, how is this even a choice if you have $50,000 to spend on something? Should I buy a new SUV or this waste of pile of shit? I'd be surprised if actually someone buys that. But some people in the world are crazy. They just gave me a business idea, though. How about 50 grand? They show up and piss all over you while they sing the song. I mean, they're already shitting on us anyway. They might as well include all of the bodily fluids.
Nice.
So they can keep it golden. It'll be pure profit for them. At least we'll have an experience to talk about.
Love it. Bravo.
All right, I got to give a different perspective, so let's give this perspective. Roscoe, for all the negatives, there's a lot. I thought one positive from a collector's point of view was this is unique. Maybe the ultimate collectible. Then to find out other bands do it. Third Eye Blind have one? Kissing isn't even the first. Nah, you're right. They do crap on their fans. Predictable set list, predictable live shows, interviews, releases. Unpredictable final show, just a run-of-the-mill show. Unpredictable $50,000 single. Thanks, you guys, for calling it all out. I guess I was wrong. I thought Brett was actually positive about this. Anthony, don't call me Mike Hunt. You guys said it all. You think that for $50,000, you'd at least get Kissing Time on the B-side. A gold version with a couple live tracks from Wonderland or a gig like that for $50 would have gone through the roof. Absolutely right. That's too little for them. They ain't making much money from that. Never mind, it's what the fans want, but they don't give a shit. Mm-hmm. Chris Hall says, very well done, boys. Poll suggestion. Which episode contained more raw hate? This one or Wasp ARC? This is what I don't understand. No. People assume that when one of us doesn't like something, the other one doesn't. I didn't even fucking put Wasp last. I just didn't like really the album. I think it was just a little bit way over the top with the praise it got. Tom really liked the album. I say that.
Yeah, I legitimately liked it. It's not my favorite, but I liked it.
And then the thing is, I didn't hate the album. I was like, this is the worst thing.
No, you just laughed at it.
Yeah, exactly, Tom. That's just it, right? All right, let's go to our Loudcasters. And for those that are new, Loudcasters is our Facebook group. Please join. It's already got fucking 12,000 members. And it does it has a lot of fucking various fun shit on here, let me tell you. Anyway,
we get some great dialogues there. Yep.
Yeah. And occasionally I'll throw some stupid shit out there for you guys to laugh about. Michael Jude Grimes, who's got Grimies out there in
Grimies, baby.
Right? In Nashville?
Yes. Yep.
2 minutes in, and I'm laughing my ass off again. I tell people you are the car talk of Kiss podcast with the governor off. My favorite podcast by far, Grimy.
That's awesome.
Now, think about the music that this fucking guy knows and listens to.
Yep.
And he says that about us. That is a fucking great compliment. Thank you, Grimy. We appreciate it, buddy.
Grimy rules.
Yep. Mike Throne says this episode got off to a shitty start. Thanks for that, Zeus. The Kiss camp has jumped the shark in all aspect of their businesses. That or someone for a good deal of some gold found a way to profit from it. Yeah, you can say that, but is it worse than the casket came out? Or is it worse than fucking playing for sharks?
But I actually look the casket to me is almost like a goof, like a tongue in cheek, that's not. I think Kiss was in on the joke on that. I think the shark thing was serious. I think the Gold Strutter is serious. But I get your point. I get what you're saying.
Daniel Holler Houston. This episode pretty much sums up my feelings. One of my best friends that I talk music with knows how much I love Kiss. And last week he asked me, wait, do you love or hate Kiss? You talk more shit about them than any other band. Sometimes I can't tell. This is the dilemma of a Kiss fan. We love the band, but they give us reasons to hate them. You are so right. And the people like you are our listeners. Yep. There are others that wouldn't listen to us no matter how much you pay them because they don't want to hear anything negative. And to me, that is just, you're just not being real. You're being fake. You don't want to live in reality. You don't believe in this shit. Footy pajamas, unicorns, and sunshine all day. I don't want to hear about anything negative about Kiss. And there are podcasts for you out there to listen to that. This ain't it.
Well, it's like sports radio. Living in New England, it always used to be in Bill we trust. Meaning I can't criticize Bill Belichick. He's won 6 Super in Bill we trust. Yeah. It's okay, do you have any critical thinking in your brain at all?
Yeah, you're not allowed to.
No, you can't. No.
Yeah. BC Allison literally couldn't hardly wait to listen to this episode this week, and you guys hit it out of the park. The whole story just solidifies the fact that Gene and Paul Pop House have completely lost touch with their fan base. Why would you endorse a product that literally none of your fans can afford or want? Even if I have 50 grand lying around a pillowcase, do you honestly think I'd invested in this tchotchke? Seriously, these guys need to learn to read the fucking room. I know we're going to get people like, oh, it's not really Pop House. It's Universal. Whatever, buddy. Nobody cares.
I love that. I love that quick defense. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, because they have to. Because I'm going to get a free Pop House fucking pencil if I fucking say nice things about them. Charles, don't call me Mark Eaton. I used to consider myself a little bit of a collector. Any magazine articles, patches, shirts, pins, music videos, and interviews, new merch, and Basil with Kiss. I try to get them all in my collection. Also included the VH-shaped types of Memorex cassettes used to record appearances of Kiss on talk shows, hosting Headbangers Ball, world premiere videos, or radio play. It shouldn't take me long to get priced out of the collector's market with this band. I was one of the biggest Kiss fans I know. But because I didn't have the kind of money to collect all their merch, I'm not considered a true diehard or real Kiss fan. The amount of money you have to have is not an indicator of how much you love something. These new Golden Strutter releases are just the newest prime example why Kiss lost credibility with their fan base, and casual fans can no longer take them seriously. Definitely the gold standard of fan alienation. You
Great
guys
comment. It's a great point.
Are the gold standard of true and real Kiss podcasting.
All right.
Thankfully, we don't have to pay $2,500 to enjoy Shout Out Loudcast each week. And yes, you are at least a little bit gayish if you like a butt stuff to include your own. Oh, man. He's fucking hilarious.
Love it. That's awesome.
Graham Richley. I was still laughing at the soundbite of Paul saying, I have a 9-inch dick hours later. That is Shouted Out Loudcast Hall of Fame material right there. On the Strutter debacle, do you know who is behind this? Is it Pop House or Gene or Paul? Would they see any money from this? Didn't they sell out pretty much everything they did with Kiss? From what I understand, I don't think it's Pop House, but I'm sure Gene and Paul have to get something. They signed that.
Yeah.
Right?
No, they're they're signing them.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I don't think they have a contract with Universal and Pop House. Like, you have to sign everything we send you forever because we bought that. No, I'm sure they got something.
And plus, apparently, I mean, Universal, I believe, still owns the catalog. So I don't know if Pop House is involved in this at all.
Yeah, exactly. Denise Sorelli. Oh, boy.
Oh, she's always pleasant. She makes us look like fucking footy pajama people.
I couldn't have loved the episode more. Shit stories, more intellectual discussions on sexuality, and calling out the Pop House Mafia.
Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that.
Who can't even say anything bad about this, slap in the face because they fear of losing their access. Well said.
I like that. The Pop House Mafia.
Almost died when you said, I like Gene. You guys are the best. Oh,
we'll keep that to ourselves.
Yes, thank you.
That's fucking awesome. I love that.
And then David Demesh puts a photo up and he says, arrived today in Australia.
That's
he
right.
Bought the $2,500 version of this. Good for him.
Yep.
If that's what he wants to do. Yep, exactly.
Bravo, man. It's your money. You only live once. God bless. Enjoy it.
Wish you luck in the future. God bless. See you later, fruitcake.
No, I can tell you right now, if that was the $50,000 one, I'd be shitting all over you, but that's okay.
To each their own. Over on YouTube. Chris Flood says, anger. Love it. DB Threshold. Quite possibly my new favorite episode.
Ooh, all right.
And then Patton Diorama says, I just ordered mine after selling my house and car.
It was only 50,000, Patton.
Sorry. Maybe he was living in your shed.
Maybe he was living in his car.
Yeah, maybe. All right, Tom.
Maybe. Would you say maybe?
Did you just soil yourself? It was a little bit wet there right at the end.
All right, let's look at Instagram. Our friends over at Pantheon Podcast, we are always a proud member of those guys. They just responded with only 50K. Oof. Clark Side of the Moon says the quote, we wouldn't be anywhere without our fans quote comments from Gene and Paul have been ringing pretty hollow for years. They may have felt that way at some point and may have moments of appreciation, but they've been insulated from us for years. I try to not let the disconnect ruin my fandom, but things like this make it increasingly difficult. Broke on Records says, if Kiss never had the history of ripping off fans for this and that here and there, this would be surprising but not insulting. Also, this is a purely licensing deal. The company who makes it is licensing their gold record tech to Kiss, or vice versa, Kiss licensing Strutter to them. Essentially, they are selling you an art piece, and art collectors pay way more than $2,500 or $50,000 for fine art. This item is not for us, the fans, as Gene would say, which is unfortunate. They're overstepping us and going straight to the affluent Kiss tards. If they did a nice color 7-inch reissue like they did for Shout It Out Loud a few years ago, I would have bought it. This is just another Kiss miss, so I'll wait for another Kiss hit. Oh, well said. I like that one. Junior Vintage, this gold record reminds me of that big monster book that was like $1,000 or $2 and sold like one copy. If gold prices rise in 10 years, then hopefully you can melt that shit and sell it on the streets to recoup your investments. Oh, my God. All right. That's what we got on Instagram. Let's take a quick look at some emails here. Our buddy West Beach, haven't heard from him in a bit. Tom and Zeus, a comment on the previous episode. I can't stop laughing at Jelly Ass and a fine intro for the great James Campion episode. Welcome new listeners indeed. Ass play between a man and a woman is perfectly normal and not gay. The singer...
Someone's got some experience.
He goes, the singer in my band, Shock Therapy, used to say, only a man really knows how to please another man. Now that's gay. That's what he said. He goes, now that's gay. He says, then he goes, so Wes is kind of catching up on a few episodes, which is fine. The album I would play for someone who never heard Kiss would be the debut, for timeless songs still played up until the end and the great guitar interplay between Paul and Ace. As time went on, Paul played less and less, not unlike Ace and his current band, and that's too bad. I often wonder if Kiss was influenced by the other twin guitar attacks of their New York contemporaries of the days like New York Dolls or Television. Now to the episode at hand. Kiss once again confounds the fans with products out of reach. I think it's Gene pushing to see how much someone would fork over for high-priced merch. After the success of his Vault experience in the meet and greets, I'm sure he had no problem setting those high prices to see if he could reel in some high rollers. I still can never get the anniversary picture discs on first releases. They're always sold out by the time I've tried to get them. Kiss Online needs to fix that, and these overpriced offerings are just an insult to me. Looking forward to new box sets and off the soundboards and the disappointment of missing out on another picture disc, but such is the plight of a Kiss tard. Keep rockin', boys. Great point. That is a great point about Gene's Vault. Gene's probably like, if people pay fucking $50,000 for me to come to their house with a vault.
Yeah, Gene is always looking for ways to quickly make money, right?
Quickly. Yep.
Without putting that much effort. Just raise the price and just offer it to less people.
It's true. It's true. Our buddy Tony Smith, even if I won $1 billion Powerball, I still wouldn't buy this. However, if someone gets it as a present for me, I wouldn't refuse it. And I'm a completist that likes and owns all that Spencer stuff and would rather see more of that than a $50,000 gold record. Good point. And that's what we got for feedback on my end with email, Zeus. Let's end it with you.
All right. So back to YouTube. You love this one. Chef Salami Tits.
Jesus Christ.
I am so glad we have Shout It Out Loudcast to speak for us. It's pretty clear what Pop House is doing. They went to the oldest Kiss podcast and the lamest and promised them inside info in exchange for only unicorns and smiles. Someone steals my shit.
Someone's listening.
When it comes to Kiss and Pop House. What they didn't realize, and by the way, it's Sunshine, but that's okay. When they didn't realize that those podcasts have no listeners.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Who the fuck listens to the Kiss Room?
Wow. God. Chef Salami Tits is on fire today.
This is.
Go ahead.
Where was the last time Jim Polo said anything remotely interesting? Awesome, Jim Polo.
Come on. Jesus Christ.
You guys have always called it like you see it. We may not always like what you like or hate what you hate, but we know you're not bought and paid for. Imagine trying to spin a $50,000 gold single of Strutter to your listeners. Thank you for speaking the truth and for having the absolute best Kiss podcast. That's why you guys have been number one for years. Look, we've said it. I just found the whole Jim Polo thing funny.
The whole thing was hilarious.
Chef Salami Tits, thank you for that. I just love that you get that you're going to get, I think, a real reaction from us whether it's good or bad. You may not agree with it, but it's real. And that you pick up on that, and that you pick up on that that's not the same for everyone out there. And they can have their opinion, and they're the right to do it. And from all understanding, they're all good guys. I don't know. But I've never met a Jim Polo, but I have met a Joe Polo, and he's harmless. But anyway, Chef Salami Tits, you are a comment of the week.
Good answer. Good answer. I like the way you think. I'm going to be watching you.
Yeah, Tom, I think that's your favorite Twitter handle, I think, or YouTube handle, or whatever.
Chef Salami Tits? I fucking love it. That's amazing. Amazing.
It's up there with Game Show Lover.
Game Show Lover. Love it.
All right. Tom, speaking of loving things, how about our fucking awesome Patreon family? Whoo, is the Patreon family hot with fucking comments? That message board is filled constantly with comments because it's the ARC pick this month, and they're all getting everything in, and everyone's banting back and forth. It's fantastic. And what's also fantastic, a towel, our Patreon family is just the best. And if you want to join Patreon, please go to our website.
Go to him.
ShoutItOutLoudcast.com. Right on the landing page is an icon for Patreon. Click on that, and then you can join one of the 4 different tiers we have. Each tier has different actual perks, and when you sign up, you get different access, more polls, merch, koozies, guitar picks, T-shirts, all sorts of fucking different things for different tiers, and you get video chats, live comments on our message boards, and we really appreciate you. And the thing is, Patreon set up to help the show, and boy, has it helped the show. So if you want to do that, help the show grow, want to kind of give us something to help us continue the success that we've had, please join Patreon and help the show out. We really appreciate it. Thank you to our Patreon family.
Yeah, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for everything that you do, whether you're brand new to the family, you've been there since day one, or somewhere in between. Eternally grateful for all you do. And you guys got a good Patreon pick coming for the month of March. So we'll see. That's going to be a lot of fun. And obviously, speaking of ARC, Zeus knocked it out of the park this month with Elvis. So looking forward to seeing what Patreon gives us for March. You guys are going to love it.
Yeah, speaking of ARC, Ryan Spencer Cook, man, he is just a fucking man. Awesome job on that. Got my Elvis release out, so hope you guys tune into that. Tom, let's move over and go to Kiss World.
Yeah, so again, kind of quiet here. One big thing that we were kind of talking about today, and we were actually texting back and forth about it, was today on Wednesday, February 26th, Chris Jericho's podcast, Talk is Jericho, had a brand new interview with Paul Stanley, which kudos to Chris. And we're not just saying that because he's a friend of the show, but probably the best interview we've heard with Paul in a long time, because it was the exact opposite of that gushing debacle that Richard Marx did a week ago. Chris asked some tough questions, may not have gotten the answers that you wanted, but he asked him about the set list. He asked him about the final show and, celebrating the history of the band. He asked him about, everything, talking about, are you going to go out and play more music? And Paul had some comments about Gene going on tour. Just, it was really great. It stuck to Kiss the entire time, Zeus. Very, very cool one there.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. There were a lot of kind of interesting comments and things back and forth that Paul had said during this interview. So I just want to pick up on a couple little pieces here. So at one point, Paul says, well, yeah, I can still play Love Gun. Yeah, the problem isn't you playing Love Gun. It's you singing Love Gun.
Right.
So it was interesting how he phrased it that way. Then he goes on to discuss the avatars, and he says there was a discussion about whether they should do it. We all wondered if that was just, pop policy. We're buying this. You're doing this. Yep. He says he was in on that discussion with Gene. That's fucking pathetic that you think that's a great idea to put that shit out there. You couldn't have put it out there.
The backtracking on the Avatar thing, the decision to play it, and what they actually showed the crowd, that backtracking is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, you admitted that you thought that was a good idea.
Yep.
In addition to that was a good idea, what he also said, and he poo-pooed, was the idea of other members coming on and what do you want us to do, like a video or a montage?
Yes.
Dude, yeah, what's wrong with that? What is that hard to do?
Well, you know what I wish. You know what I wish. And credit to Chris, because you always think about stuff after the fact. But I wish Chris had followed up and said, "You do video montages anyways. You do them. You do them near the end. You put that screen up, and it shows every generation of Kiss doing the Deuce dance from black and white photos from '74 all the way up to Hot in the Shade. You do video montages with that. What, you couldn't have just done that?"
Yeah, and he gets away with it, and Chris actually followed up. He's like, "Well, what about Bruce? Like, we get that the fucking Ace and what do you call it is kind of messy, but what about Bruce? Why not him?"
Yep.
And he's just like, what do I do? Dude, yes, that's what we want you to do. It's fucking ridiculous. And then he was talking about like the set list.
Oh.
And then he's like, well, we're not that kind of band. We have everything timed out. No. You even admitted that you need to cut songs down because you can't do shit like that. Just admit it. I can't change it because I can't sing anymore. And it's not part of the show because I need the fucking stuff that helps when my part comes up.
So I will say real quick, I was at least impressed with Paul's honesty about why he won't change the set list, meaning everything is choreographed, everything is scheduled and organized and timed and we've always said this, but I'll give him credit for actually coming out and explaining whether or not we believe it, if that's the reason. The fact that he addressed it, I'll give him credit for that at least. Go ahead.
And then, when going back, he was talking about Peter and Ace. He said they had unrealistic demands.
Yeah, I love that.
Who had unrealistic demands? Peter? I don't think Peter made any demands public at all. I don't think he even brought it up. I never heard anything about Peter negotiating this. You're talking about Ace, probably. But did you even meet him?
Oh, definitely Ace.
Talk to him? Yeah.
Definitely. It was definitely Ace. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Ace.
Yeah. And then he puts up, well, the tribute to all them is us being there and performing. That's the tribute to all those former members.
Then I also liked how Paul said something about how it wasn't about the start of the band. It was about 50 years of the band. Do you even listen to your own words? That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't even make sense. And then he uses that tired old line. We couldn't have gotten here without Ace and Peter, and we couldn't be here with Ace and Peter. We thank you.
Yeah,
Right,
and Chris just brushed that aside and was like, but this.
Thank God.
More than any other interviewer has done with him in quite a long time.
Yeah.
I had nothing more than a stump on the right side of my head.
I don't remember that coming up in the interview. But then there's the other part that when they talked about the set list and things like that, he says the diehard fans would have loved it. The general public wouldn't. There's only a handful of people. Well, if you want to see it, well, that was what in Vancouver. Well, the people in Vancouver saw it, but maybe the people in your city didn't see these songs. Dude, most of people, Kiss fans, know where the internet is. They know what's going on. They know what to expect. They want to hear certain other songs too. And they do go to more than one Kiss show. I mean, come on.
His logic is so unrealistic and like just flawed.
I just want to say to him, if we ever had him, like, that sounds like such fucking shit. You want to do it this way because you can't change the set list because you can't sing. I know you can't admit that, but that's the fucking reason. Everything else is you gaslighting us, thinking we're fucking stupid to listen to these nonsensical fucking reasons. It's
first of all,
annoying.
Paul wrote the book on gaslighting, and you know why he's so good at it and why he continues to do it? Because you have people out there that we've already talked about who listen to every fucking word he says. He's been fed that, which is why Chris's interview was so great.
Yeah, and no one challenges him in these interviews.
Right.
So these fucking comments get to be stay out there as though that's the fucking be all end all of what these questions and answers should be about this. And then the other couple things is he made some comments that I just, don't agree with. He's like, Creatures didn't sell. Then we brought Lick It Up, and that sold so much more. And he says it's not nearly anywhere as good as Creatures. Yeah, it's better. The fuck are you talking? But why do you have to shit on Lick It Up? I don't understand. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
Why would you shit on Lick It Up?
Like your music?
Why would you shit on Lick It Up when it had a massive, massive hit?
Yeah, and then he brings up, and Chris tries to talk to him about quarantine and what they do in the 80s, Paul, and stuff. Yep. And he's just, you can tell he doesn't want to discuss this shit. He just wants to move past it. And then he's like, and he praises him and says, "Turn on the Night." If that was Bon Jovi, that would have been a number one hit. He doesn't even really comment on it, just ignores that comment. And then he's like, yeah, well, some of that stuff. But then he's like, well, a song like, they couldn't get over Forever, but even a song like Every Time I Look at You should have been. That song fucking blows compared to that fucking.
I will
loves to blow that fucking song because he wrote it.
Paul did acknowledge though that the record company had no use for Kiss at that time, which is why they weren't pushing anything. So whether or not that's true or not, because he did respond to the Turn on the Night thing. He's like, yeah, we had a record company that didn't give two shits about us. They couldn't care about anything.
Talk about that song. He didn't fucking continue. Yeah, I really like that song. Yeah, I think that's about
he didn't. No,
that's my point. Chris said that song should have been a number one hit. If Bon Jovi, he's like, yeah, the record company didn't believe in it. Like, dude, fucking talk about this period. We love to get you to talk about it. Oh, he just brushes aside, and he just loves to blow himself over the same songs. Oh, Psycho Circus is a classic. Every Time I Look at You, dude, fuck off with that song. Okay?
How about I like when he says
it happened. It didn't.
If Modern Day Delilah came off one of those early records, it would be a classic. Okay, well, so what? Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. Who cares?
So play it if you think it's that fucking good, and it would become a classic.
Well, that's the other thing, and I give credit to Chris again for saying, yeah, you guys played Say Yeah. At least you had something from Sonic Boom, because if not, that's you telling the fans these albums aren't even worth representing. You don't even play anything off of any of them.
It's just frustrating, but he did a fucking awesome job. He was texting with us this morning about it, and we were telling him that, look, we think that's the best fucking interview I've heard Paul do in fucking God knows how long.
Yeah, one more thing I just want to bring up, and I thought was interesting when Chris commented to Paul about Gene going out on tour, and Paul was like, "No, I don't want to go out and do that and tour and do Kiss songs."
Yes.
And then he said something really interesting. He said, "Well, I don't want to look over to my left and see another Gene." And I wanted to be like, "Oh, okay, but for the last 25 years, you can look over your shoulder and see another Peter or another Ace." So that doesn't bother you to see another?
Yeah, I have a hard time, like, giving him a hard time about that, because Gene's his brother. Gene's been there for like 50 years with him all the way through.
I get it.
But he didn't have a problem when he was on his solo show. But I don't think he played any Gene songs.
But speaking of
what he's trying to say.
No, I know. And then speaking of the Tommy and the Eric thing, he talked about how Val Kilmer was a great Batman, but so was Michael Keaton. Like, okay, so again, you're minimizing Ace and Peter as individuals by saying they're just people who wore the costumes of Catman and Spaceman. Yeah. That was another annoying thing that he said. But that being said, I think Chris nailed it. He didn't ask him any bullshit about painting. It was the exact opposite of that horrendous Richard Marx friggin' blowjob interview. So credit to Chris. It was great. It was great.
Yeah. The other part to it, which was very surprising, and Chris said it to us, that they were like, whatever you want to talk about. He wasn't given, you can't talk about this or you can't do this, which I'm very surprised, which makes those Richard Marx interviews even fucking worse. Like, that's what you want to talk to him about.
Yep.
If he's not putting any prerequisites on you, that's the shit you want to talk about. What do you feel like therapy has done for you? How do you feel about therapy? Terrible. Fascinating conversation.
Yeah. But anyway, I knew I braced myself, but I knew with Chris, the way he does his interviews and him being a huge Kiss fan, I knew that it wouldn't be a friggin' stroke job.
No,
and it was great.
Kudos to a friend. Good for him.
Yep.
All right, Tom. Last week we didn't get to talk about it because it came on afterwards, and that is the whole Dress to Kill stuff, right?
Yeah, so they're doing this walking tour thing. It's if you're a Seinfeld fan, it's kind of like when Kramer did the Peterman reality tour. Our buddy Steve Wright from Hotter Than Hell, we were kind of joking about that too because we're all huge Seinfeld fans. Yeah, it's like a walking tour through like New York, kind of all the hot spots and all the places, you know, where the album cover was taken and just different venues and different areas. So I think that's now to me that's cool. That's something Kiss centric, band centric,
affordable
albums. Right. That's something cool that I think is a very creative idea. That I like that idea. I mean, we're not going to be able to go to it because it's, you know, on site.
But you can do it online.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What am I going to? It's like Pokemon Go. I'm just going to fucking sit here and click on shit.
I'm curious. How many of you listeners out there tell us in the episode stuff, do like things like Pokemon Go?
Don't ask them that.
Why not? I want to hear it. I bet you there's going to be a bunch of Kiss tards being like, yeah, I do it. And they need to do it. Kiss tard Go.
They're going to be like, what are you talking about? There's Kiss related Pokemons. What are you talking about?
Go to this stop and spin it. You get a fucking King of the Mountain poster. And then, Tom, there was also something that you didn't, you kind of mocked a little bit, but got some pushback. What else are they releasing?
First of all, I'm glad you brought this up because the pushback was minimal. The pushback was minimal, but very, very, very heated, which gave me such a lack of hope for the future of humanity. And I know that they're out there, and I'm not new. These have been out forever. A Kiss coloring book for adults. Okay? I get it. They're out there. And let me tell you this right now. Yes, I am passing judgment on you. If you are an adult and you are spending free time coloring, you need to reassess your life. Coloring is for children. It's a coloring book. If you want to do painting like Paul or something, but if you're going to sit down with a fucking coloring book and colored pencils or crayons, you have not reached the point of maturity for you to be able to cope with life. And I got attacked by people. Oh, it's a great way to work off stress. You come home from a long day. I'm like, if you come home from a long day and color, I don't know what you're doing with your life on a daily basis. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You sound like when
sorry.
the Ali G interviewed Boutros Ghali, and he said to him, "Is Disneyland a country? Disneyland is for children. It's not the country." That's what you just did. Coloring books are for children.
I'm sorry. Now, don't get me wrong. I collect stuff. I will admit, I play video games occasionally, okay? I do. But I don't sit at my kitchen table and be like, oh, God, what a rough day at work. I can't wait to color cover of Love Gun tonight and take off some stress.
Tell me your date is leaving your apartment when you show up without telling me your date is leaving your apartment when she shows up.
What date?
Hey.
You think what date?
Ooh, let's make out on the what the fuck is this? Oh, it's my Kiss coloring books.
It's 40-year-old virgin.
Oh, is it a classic? Like you have it from your childhood? You're selling that? No, I just bought it last week at Walmart. It's like $4.
Yeah. This is the same. It's the same
for your
guy.
Kids? No,
is that Oscar Goldman? Is that the $6 million man?
It's worth way more money than it's worth way more money than the $6 million man. Well, that may be true, but it's not sexy.
That's what it is. It's the 40-year-old virgin. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Is that a Kiss coloring book? Why do you have that?
Are those colored pencils? Do you have a pencil sharpener in your living room?
Yeah, the ones you put into the wall.
like third grade.
Yes, exactly. Hey, Tom, one other thing I want to add to
go ahead.
This discussion, and we were talking a little bit about the whole, the gold records and stuff before we turn the page to our topic. We were kind of joking, but maybe not, about like just fucking hating on the Kiss world these days. There is just so much stupid shit going on. Like, you can't help but miss it. Even if you're not part of pages, thanks to Facebook, fucking shit pops up on your timeline. You see, you're like, awful. Why do I have this? Why is this awful? And there's people fighting left and right about whether Kiss is brilliant for selling $50,000 fucking singles, or whether you're a fucking Kiss tard for backing it up. And then there's this fucking whole little drama going on about the whole fucking Gooch videos and I have this. Jesus, I don't know. That fucking kid is like, I have this, and I'm putting out a fucking documentary about.
I know.
Who has the time to do this shit? And just that, and the people that come onto our page and write a comment, and then the fucking know-it-all fucking experts come on and just talk shit over them and condescendingly answer a comment like, hey, can I get this? No, you should know that that's a fucking phony copy because of this and that. Dude, fuck off. All these people, I call it haughty Kiss fans. No, not haughty as in good looking. Haughty as like fucking, I am better than you. I am superior than you. I have a fucking better understanding than everything than you do. And I need to fucking shove you in a locker because I'm a bigger Kiss tard than you. That shit needs to go away. I don't care about your fucking long-standing vendetta with Kurt Gooch or that what is the fucking actual fucking single that has the actual crease on it. Like, good God, don't be a dick about things. It's Kiss. Stop fucking making everything like so annoying. Like, fucking relax, people.
Okay, we mentioned it because unfortunately there's a lot of people out there whose entire persona is Kiss. That is their identity. So when somebody from the outside tries to challenge or question or attack or even engage with them, it's the idea of gatekeeping. It's the idea of gatekeeping. I'm a bigger Kiss fan than you. I know more than you. So I have to make sure I put you in your place so that you know the kind of fan you are. Oh, you don't know if that is the Japanese pressing of Love Gun? How do you not know that? What kind of a Kiss fan are you? And then the poor guy's probably like, I just started collecting vinyl. I thought maybe I'd ask for some help. Well, no, you should know better than that. And then the person's like, well, go fuck yourself. And then all the little that group of people like, see, we showed him. we know. They don't. We do.
Yeah,
it's fucking so brutal. Awful. It's brutal. Now go get your fucking coloring books.
These haughty Kiss fans.
Go get your shine box.
Go fucking away. That's all I gotta say.
Yep. It's rough.
Yeah, Tom. It's aggravating. Anyway, Thankfully, I can calm down and keep my mind focused because of Magic Mind.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we've talked about it. You guys have heard it. We joke about it. How many times in the past I'd lose focus? I can't keep my mind. What was I just talking about? Why did I enter this room? Things like that. And keeping the energy up, keeping my mind focused. Magic Mind has been helping. You started taking it last year, me doing it now. And I tell you, it works. It helps me.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we're so busy, you get distracted. It's tough to focus. We're getting older here, so physically and mentally, you get fatigued, you get tired, you get stressed, you get overworked. This stuff is great. It's, I like to call it like a little mental performance shot, and when you take it, it works cumulatively, so you keep taking it. I've been taking it for a while. No joke, I've been sleeping better than I have in a really long time. I'm waking up. I'm feeling a little bit more energetic at work. I go to the gym on my lunch break. Luckily, where I work, there's a gym. I feel great. It's 100% safe. It's got time-released caffeine in it, and it doesn't replace your morning coffee. I drink at least 2 cups a day, and I'm still taking my Magic Mind. The stuff is fantastic, and we urge you guys to learn more about it. Go to magicmind.com right now. If you choose to subscribe, you can get 48% off the subscription, or for a one-time purchase, you can get 20% off with the code SOL20 at checkout. That's SOL20, not SIOL20. Stuff is amazing. Again, 48% off a subscription or 20% off a one-time purchase. It's a little shot there. Tastes great. Kicks you in your ass a little bit there. Believe me, you guys are going to love it. We've been taking it for a while, and it's fantastic. magicmind.com/SOL20.
Yeah, Tom. I think we need to take a quick little break and get our audio fixed.
I'm still hearing his fucking echo.
All right, we're back, and poor Ace. I mean, we say it every week. Ace really needs to get on board with the Magic Mind. I mean, if there's anybody who could use it, I mean, goddamn, Ace would really. I mean, he'd probably have to really double and triple his dosage. But Magic Mind is that good. I think it would work for him, Zeus.
Yeah, it could be. Who knows, man? But what we're doing is we're going to be talking about Kiss and hair metal. So we thought about this because hair metal. We've been seeing a lot of, articles lately, and we'll be talking about it, and then we'll all be saying, well, wait a minute. Kiss gets put in that category sometimes, but they, I think, fall into a category of bands that I would say and describe as not hair metal, but had a hair metal phase. So I would add a band like even Ozzy had a little hair metal phase. Scorpions had a hair metal phase. Whitesnake had a hair metal phase. Aerosmith had a hair metal phase. But I wouldn't think of these bands as hair metal. But quite often, Kiss gets lumped in there. And that obviously we're talking about 80s Kiss. And you'll hear their songs on Hair Nation, right? On satellite, Sirius XM. And we were talking about this off the air, and we're like, yeah, I get so, but I mean, tell us let's have a discussion about Kiss and hair metal. So let's start with you, Tom. Give us your thoughts right now.
Yeah, so it's funny when you talk about this because we've said this before, and you're right. Kiss, because they came around in the 70s, they had a hair metal phase. But I think the interesting thing about Kiss is that it's kind of a double-edged sword for them. So the success that they had in the 70s and the look of the band, especially Paul, say what you will, the guy's a good-looking guy, great-looking frontman. They were tailor-made for hair metal, tailor-made for that frontman image, that image-related stuff, that MTV image. But I wonder this. If Kiss started, let's say Kiss's first album was Lick It Up, right? Mm-hmm. I almost feel like they would have crushed the 80s even more because they would have been a new band that's jumping into that scene. Lick It Up is not hair metal, right? I guess my point is just that if Kiss came out of nowhere, I think that they could have crushed it even more than they did. Because I think there were a lot of people who looked at Kiss and been like, geez, yeah, here are the guys that took the makeup off and now they're just going to try to glom onto the MTV glam metal
Exactly.
thing.
They got hanger-ons, right?
Exactly. But I wonder, I think they had the ability to own the 80s, and they kind of still did. I mean, they still had huge, huge hits, which of course.
As Paul said in the interview with Chris, they were in the discussion. They weren't leading the pack, but they were there.
Right.
And It reminds me of the old Alan Jackson song "Gone Country" in the '90s, where all the artists are trying to do country stuff. Well, look at it now. Country is so big. You got Beyonce trying to do a country. Did what's supposedly called a country album, but that's the same kind of thing. And what you get with Kiss, I think, is you're absolutely right. First of all, they're about a decade older than most of those hair metal bands. So instead of being in their mid-20s, they're in their mid-30s. So it looks a little like, oh, here's the old guy in the club. That kind of aspect. In addition, you have the aspect of like Kiss was already a well-known commodity. Mm-hmm. Oh, you guys were the shock kind of people. Now you're wearing fucking lace and reds and orange and yellows colors and stuff. Like, what the fuck is that? So I think they had those things against them. You're right. But what if they came out with Asylum as their first album? And they dressed like that, right?
Exactly.
I think they had those problems. But the discussion we started off with is, I think we disagreed a little bit, but where do you go and say this is the hair metal phase for Kiss?
So if I can use an analogy, I would say that Lick It Up is like their high and dry type thing. Okay. Animalize is they're starting to, it's still hard rock, but it's pre-glam, it's pre-hair metal, right? I think Asylum is when they are full-blown song and image, full-blown glam hair metal, especially with the types of songs, Tears Are Fallen, Who Wants to Be Lonely, All Night, even Gene stuff with Secretly Cruel, and then they're doing some of the fast Kiss like I'm Alive and Love's a Deadly Weapon. But you're right, Crazy Nights is probably their ultimate hair metal album. And I know that that's where you go, right?
Yeah. We've had this conversation off there, but truly for me, I look at it this way. I think hair metal for them starts with Asylum. It continues with Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits, which was probably just about their peak hair metal. Crazy Nights is popish, Bon Jovi-ish hair metal, but they start stripping down a little bit. There's no more the bright colors. If you look at Crazy Nights, right? Look at all the videos they have. They're not wearing what they were wearing in Asylum, but that's still hair metal type music and anthems. And then after you've got Hot in the Shade, still to me hair metal. That whole album is still hair metal.
Oh, totally.
The look is
a different type of hair metal. It's not as glammy.
The look is what's happening in that type of music. All of a sudden, Poison isn't wearing leather and shiny fucking stuff. Now Bret Michaels is wearing jeans in his fucking music videos. The guys from Trickster with their first couple, I think they had a platinum album. All their stuff, they're starting to wear flannel around this time. So you got
Tesla, a band like Tesla too.
Cinderella dropped what they look like in Night Songs to their third album. Look what they dressed like, right? So
that's right.
Even Great White, you look at them and they had that poofy hairdos, but the look is jeans or leather and stuff, but not fucking Poison and what's that other Enough's Enough shit. That fucking
Britney
type
Fox.
Of yeah. Fucking pirate costumes. I think that's where Kiss was definitely, and obviously Revenge, they're out of the hair metal. But I think you would start with Asylum, Crazy Nights, Smashes, Thrashes, and Hot in the Shade. that's their hair metal phase.
Yeah, and Kiss, like the era itself, like I said, you had the pre-hair metal stuff. You had that 83, 84 era, which is what Kiss had with Lick It Up and Animalize. And then you kind of really have that flamboyant, glammy era, which Kiss did with Asylum, which is where you had the Vinnie Vincent Invasion and, Britney Fox and Cinderella with Night Songs and Poison, the fluorescent colors, the big hair, the real obnoxious shit, the super poppy, glammy, dirty, fuck me, suck me type songs. And then you get over to Crazy Nights where it's poppy, but it's more slippery when wet. It's anthemic, it's melodic, there's keyboards, but that glam image is getting stripped back a little bit, right? And like you said with Hot in the Shade, now you're getting into some almost like southern rock hair metal, like again with the Tesla, like you said, Cinderella stripping down. Then now that you're wearing
coming. Yeah, acoustic guitar started becoming part of the gig with these guys' bands.
Right. You're wearing jeans. Some of these guys are wearing cowboy boots with their outfits, right? But it's still pop metal.
Yeah, because if you look at the phase, the other problem you have is all those hair metal bands, they're all fucking influenced by Kiss.
Of course.
That's their fucking leader. So now Kiss is like, hey, can I hang out with you younger guys? So if you look at like a Rat, for instance, they were hair metal from Out of the Cellar, right? But three albums later, they're still doing fucking Reach for the Sky. I want a woman, not some little, like, it's still hair metal, but it's stripped down a little. But if you watch that video, there's fucking hair up the yin yang. So it's still there albums later, and Kiss was still there. The look may transfer, but the success of what is called hair metal, Kiss is still right there. Their albums were getting released and going gold and platinum. Kiss was right there with all the hair metal magazines. I know because I used to buy them. Hit Parader.
Me too.
Metal Edge. Circus. Kiss is right in there, right next to articles on Dokken, Rat, Bon Jovi, Poison. Kiss is in the middle of it. They were so part of it. They were on covers. There were articles about them right in there. So you have, you're not going to see Queen in there. You're not going to find fucking other hard rock bands in there that from that era because they wouldn't have that image to fit into the heavy metal. They weren't welcomed as Kiss was.
Yeah. And then even like you look at the Hot in the Shade tour, look at the bands who opened for Kiss on that tour, okay? You had Slaughter was the big opening act, okay? But then you had a rotation of you had Faster Pussycat, you had Danger Danger, you had Winger, you had Vixen, you had all these bands that at that time in 89, 90, those bands were kind of not at the top, but they were in that second tier. They're opening for Kiss. That's where the world was at right there.
Add another category to this to define Kiss. MTV.
Yeah. Of course.
Kiss's videos, just like the latest video from fucking Def Leppard, the latest video from Bon Jovi, we're going into the most requested videos because hair metal ruled MTV back then. Then you go to the nighttime, the fucking Headbangers Ball. Kissers right there with all those bands doing their thing. Now, Metallica and Megadeth and shit were on there, but they weren't considered hair metal, but they were part of all of that. Look, Metallica and Megadeth weren't in Circus and Hit Parader in 1988 and 89, really. And they may have been a small blurb, but the big ones that sold anything were all the hair metal bands. Poison, Bon Jovi, Dokken, Rat, Motley Crue, Def Leppard. Kiss was in their wheelhouse with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. And again, that's a credit to the image. I mean, that's a credit to the image of the band, and it's a credit to having a front man like Paul Stanley. I mean, again, all these bands that we talk about, they all had, at the time, good-looking frontmen, like sexy frontmen. Like, you can't do that without that aspect of that image. But I kind of want to see what your opinion is. I brought it up kind of at the beginning of the conversation, but was Kiss having that history of holy shit, this is Kiss? Do you think that helped? Or if they came out with Love Gun as their first album, as Lick It Up as their first album, or Asylum as their first album, would they have been even bigger in the 80s?
I don't know, because then I would feel like if Lick It Up was there first, then they may not have been in hair metal. They may have been into that kind of like Judas Priest, Iron Maiden phase.
Yeah.
That kind of bands. And, as much as people liked Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, and they're much bigger than all those hair metal bands now, back then they were getting fucking dwarfed by all the hair metal bands. They weren't doing as well. All the hard rock, bands that weren't considered hair metal. I think if Kiss went that route, I don't know. I don't think they'd be as bigger now if they started with Lick It Up. Now, if you say they started with Asylum, maybe, or if they started with fucking Hot in the Shade and Forever was off their debut album, shit.
That would have been
this
huge.
New band? Who's this new band? They just got a #1 hit, right? That's the kind of difference that a Forever could have made for them if that was off their debut album. Just like, Skid Row had I'll Remember You, and Warrant had fucking I don't know, was it I Saw Red or
I Saw Red
Surprise or Heaven, whatever the fuck their ballads were. Like, when those are your debut ballads, ooh. That fucking.
But I think it's
over the top.
Yeah, but I think it's funny. I think because Kiss has the '70s superstardom, I think that prevents people when you talk about the great hair metal bands, right? I feel like that list only consists of people who were only hair metal bands, right? Is that fair?
Exactly.
Like it's always
when you say hair metal,
it's always Motley.
Rat,
think of the bands that were only hair metal.
Jovi, that kind of shit. I put them in that era.
Right. But I feel like Kiss should be mentioned as one of the best hair metal bands.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say from that era. I wouldn't. Because I have a hard time describing them. I can't say hair metal band. Def Leppard, which is almost the epitome at one point, the poster child for what a hair band looks like. Right. But how can High and Dry and Pyromania be fucking hair metal? So I'm surprised. So I have a hard time. But the ones that I really consider hair metal are the Rat, Bon Jovi, Dokken, Motley Crue, Poison. Like, those bands started with a hair metal image, and their height was that hair metal image, right? Those bands consider. Kiss is almost hurt so many ways because they were a band from the 70s. It helped them because they had that growth and popularity that lasted, but it also hurts them for the 80s crowd, right?
Right, exactly.
And that's the kind of problem. It's a double-edged sword with them.
It's totally
they wish they were new and fresh, but they also had a fucking history to rely on. So they're still putting in a Love Gun here and there in Detroit Rock City in their set list here and there to make things work, because they still have those classic fans that want to see that.
Yeah, I think what would be interesting, and I know Ultimate Classic Rock comes out with 100 different lists, and if they came out with this one, then I missed it. But it would be cool to see a list about the top 10 bands with their hair metal phases. Like you said, like Whitesnake had one, Scorpions had one, Aerosmith had one, Kiss had one. All these bands that weren't considered hair metal,
Leppard,
but had the hair metal phase. Right, Def Leppard. But nowadays, people forget about early Def Leppard. People just say Def Leppard is a hair metal band. They had a hair metal, in my opinion, they had a hair metal phase.
Because
right?
once they went this way, they never went back. But I also think logistically,
they never went back.
They were never going to go back because the fucking drummer has one arm. There's only so much music they can do. They can't do hard fucking rock like they used to. So I think that's part of the problem. But going back, if you look at Kiss and that whole thing, it also helped them till they could get into that hair metal phase and
100%,
and almost like, put on the costume and jump in, like those cartoons where there's an army marching and all of a sudden they put on the costume and they're walking with the army and everyone just like looks at them and like, okay, and lets them walk through. But then after this, they get fucking critically Kiss, I think, by the Rolling Stones, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because they had a hair metal phase.
I agree.
Whereas
because
the other bands really did not.
Well, because like we always say, Kiss went from leading the pack to following the pack, and so like it's the ultimate catch-22 for them, the ultimate.
Yeah, but they had to survive. And the other thing is, really, we've had this conversation when we put up songs and we rank songs and looks at things and stuff. There's a lot of good 80s songs that are in that fucking list of our favorite Kiss songs. It still was.
Absolutely. No doubt.
And that's one of the things of many that we love about Kiss is there's so many different phases that you can fucking love everything, and they're all different, but they're still Kiss-centric. So that you still enjoy it. So although, this is hair metal Kiss was doing suck me, fuck me songs before some of these bands were born, and they know how to do them. They just changed the music and made it more conventional and of the times in the 80s, because they could still fucking knock that shit easy out of the park. Think about the way hair metal, the music is partying, good times, picking up chicks, fucking big, catchy Bon Jovi, Desmond Child type fucking choruses. Well, Paul Stanley's looking at him, all these guys like, fuck you, I invented that shit. Of course they can fucking excel in this era. Of course.
And let's be serious. If you really go back into the 70s, wasn't Kiss always a hair metal band, quote unquote? I mean, think about
without the image.
Like Shout It Out Loud.
Yeah. But
that's what I'm saying. But if you just look at the music itself, if you judge with your ears, like Ladies' Room, Christine 16, Shout It Out Loud, Tomorrow and Tonight. Those are fucking hair metal songs. They just came out in the 70s.
Those songs that came out that became big hits? Turn Up the Radio. That's a fucking Kiss type song.
That's a Kiss song.
Exactly. Right. Like all those people took that Kiss chemistry. Again, they're there because they can do that shit, but also they're penalized because it's somebody like Grandpa into the club. So, the chicks look at him as a little older. But Paul in the hair metal phase, as good as anybody.
The ultimate.
Yeah. Could sing, could write music, could fucking fit some. Even Gene had some great hair metal era type songs. And that's how I look at it, Tom.
Yep.
For me, it's Kiss had a hair metal phase, just like they did a grunge phase, just like they did a pop phase, just like they did a fucking disco phase, just like they did a classic rock phase, just like they did, what other phase? I don't know.
Yeah, and that's why we love them.
Exactly, because it works. But there's one common thing in all these phases. It's Paul and Gene, and the Kiss sound is still there.
That's right.
And hair metal for me is, a word that, although I use it because it just simplifies things because we know what we're all kind of talking about. And I do think it's derogatory. I think it's dismissive of the time and of the music.
Yeah.
Oh,
I agree.
Hair metal music. I'm sorry. I don't listen to fucking Elvis Costello or fucking,
I don't listen to skinny tie music.
Yeah, or the Ramones. Right. Oh, I missed out because I fucking like Kiss from the 80s. Damn right I did. And I'm sorry. I would put them up there with any band from that era. Any.
No doubt. And I'm just so grateful that my favorite band of all time has a phase of 80s glam, hair, pop metal, whatever you want, because it's one of my favorite genres of music. So we're just lucky that we get it all with Kiss.
I'll leave you with this, Tom. You go Asylum.
Go ahead.
You go the two songs Smashes, Thrashes, Crazy Nights, and Hot in the Shade.
Yep.
Put that up with anybody from that era. So you'll go Rat, Out of the Cellar, Invasion, fucking Dancing Undercover, fucking Reach of the Sky, Like, not that they're bad, but they're not holding up to those four albums. Then you go to Dokken, okay? Debut, Tooth and Nail, okay. Unchained the Night and Back for the Attack, great, okay. I'm still taking Kiss. Bon Jovi, for me, would be the only thing that's close, but that's me. I really enjoyed the first two albums, okay? I mean, really, who really can compete during that era, those four albums that went out there? They're just as, to me, I would take those four albums over any other band's output from that era. That's just my opinion.
I mean, for I mean, for me, I would too because it's Kiss. But I mean, that Dawkins run of Tooth and Nail and Under Lock and Key and Back for the Attack. That's
3 albums.
Pretty sick.
I'm sorry, Break from the Chains is not that good.
Oh no, I know, but I'm saying like a 3-album run. I'm not including Breaking the Chains. I'm saying Tooth and Nail, Under Lock and Key, Back for the Attack. I'm like that 3-album run. I'm talking.
Okay, but for Kiss, technically Smashes is not really.
And it's only 2. Yeah, it's only 2 songs.
Yeah, I was looking at it as 4 different albums, like during that period.
No, I see what you mean. If you're talking, and then, I mean, you could throw Motley Crue in there too if you want. I mean, you could, Too Fast for Love, Shout at the Devil, Theater of Pain, and it goes on and on. I mean,
but I do, and then Girls. Yeah, no. Right. For me, I would grab those 4 albums first.
Me too. I definitely, because it's Kiss, of course. Yeah. But it's a great argument. It's a great argument. That's why we love having these, because it's awesome.
Yeah, I just think we should leave it there. Kiss and hair metal, love to hear what you people think on it.
Absolutely, of course.
My dad, meanwhile, had taken to calling me Stanley Fat Ass.
I don't know why Paul needed to chime in with that, but apparently he did.
God.
Tom, let's go to question of the week, but who's sponsoring our question of the week?
Yeah, question of the week is sponsored by the great Shout It Out Loudcast Hall of Famer, our buddy Tony Barone of ABCPA Inc. ABCPA Inc. is an accounting firm located in the suburbs of Chicago that will assist you in all of your accounting and tax needs. For businesses, they can help you starting a business, financial statements, bookkeeping, payroll tax returns, sales tax returns, and of course, filing of all of your federal and state income tax returns. And for individuals, they can help you with everything from sole proprietorships, rental real estate, trust and estate tax returns, and of course, your personal federal and state income tax returns. And because ABCPA Inc. has access to all 50 states, business and individual tax returns can be prepared and e-filed on your behalf. So whether you live in
West Virginia
or
Virginia,
ABCPA Inc. is all you need. Visit them on Facebook or LinkedIn or go to their website at abcpainc.com or call Tony directly at 708-430-3232. That is abcpainc.com or 708-430-3232. And trust us, he's not just a friend of the show and not just a Shout It Out Loudcast Hall of Famer, but Zeus and I have both done business with him. They are timely, communicative, helpful. They keep you apprised and up to date of the entire process. Trust us, they are awesome. Again, abcpainc.com. That being said, our question of the week comes from Anthony, Don't Call Me Mike Hunt.
Oh.
Recently, we've seen videos of Evan Stanley and Nick Simmons singing together. I think they sound good, and I'm interested to hear more of them. But with each video we see comments about them becoming Kiss 2.0, I don't see why they would want to get on stage and imitate their dads. It seems to me that they have a very different style anyways. What do you think? Would they? Could they? Should they? And most importantly, would it sell?
Not anymore. Not after they sold everything to Universal and Pop House. What are they going to do? Unless Universal and Pop House puts them out there as a way to make some more money. No, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem them doing it, but it sounds like Paul's son, Evan, is a little bit more creative and doesn't want to be boxed into that.
Yeah.
Imagine doing fucking just the same old, he's a tribute band for the rest of his life. I'm sure he doesn't want that. And it sounds like Nick is a little bit more diverse. He doesn't need this shit. He's making his own money, does pretty well for himself. I don't think they would do it. I wouldn't mind them if they did a fucking, like a concert not dressed like them, but like in regular clothes and did a Kiss concert once in a while with another band and did some cover songs of Kiss, but I wouldn't expect them to do a permanent thing. I think that would hurt them professionally and like creatively.
Yeah. Would they do it? Probably not. Should they do it? No. Would it sell? Absolutely. 100%. If these guys came out and said that Evan and Nick are now the Star Child and the Demon and they're fronting Kiss 2.0, it would sell out faster than you can say Gold Strutter. I think it would be huge because everyone would want to see it out of curiosity. Whether it would be good, I think it would be. I mean, Amber Wild was really, really good. Evan's band when they opened up for Kiss. Those guys kicked ass. Evan can play guitar. He's got a stage presence. But I kind of agree with Zeus. It's probably not a good idea. These kids want their own identity. They want to do their own thing. They're both talented and they have the backing to pretty much do whatever they want. But I think if they did do it, I think it would be huge, and maybe a one-off tribute thing would be kind of cool. But that being said, Anthony, don't call me Mike Hunt. Great question, my friend. Thank you, as always, for your contributions and your support of the show.
Yeah, thank you for that. Tom, where can people find us?
Yeah, always start with our website, shoutitoutloudcast.com. That's you can find all of our episodes, all the Shout It Out Loudcast episodes, all of the Dorm Damage album review crew, Zeppelin Chronicles, everything there. You can find all of our links to our Amazon shopping, links to Shout It Out Loudcast merch, all of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, TikTok, everything is there. And there's a ton of fun stuff that you can look at when you're on the website, including the link to buy our book, Raise Your Glasses. You can get it directly from our website or Amazon. Find it, please. If you don't have it already, I don't know what's wrong with you. It's an amazing book, and we're very proud of that. And, of course, you can always use email, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. We read every single email you send us. Even if we don't have the time to read them during the show, trust us, we read every email that you send us. And if you want your question of the week read, we do one every week. That's a great way to get that to us as well. And, of course, we always like to say that we are a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network of shows.
Yeah, people can DM us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, motherfucker. You can go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to us there and give us one of those 5-star child reviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you give reviews on podcasts. It's a big help. As Tom mentioned, Raise Your Glasses on Amazon. You go to Amazon and give us a 5-star review there for the book. It moves it up the food chain and gets in front of more eyes. So that'd be greatly appreciated. And again, as always, shoutitoutloudcast.com is the website. You can join our Patreon there and find a ton of stuff there. So that would be great. And Tom, what we like to do is end on famous last words. Do you have any?
Oh, I certainly do. Hot lover, turn up the heat. I want your sugar girl. Your love tastes so sweet. I feel a fire burning under me. I've got a hunger that your love's got to feed. Ooh.
Show me what you want. Show me what you need. Fire below. Come on and take me. Shake me. Don't let me go. Wow.
Wonderful.
Tom, Loudcasters, Kiss Army, thank you.
Before we go, one more reminder, don't forget about Magic Mind. Please, magicmind.com/SOL20. You get 48% off a subscription or 20% off your one-time purchase. Trust us, you will not regret it. It is amazing. magicmind.com/SOL20. Love you guys. Thank you always for the support. It's amazing. Zeus, as always, my friend, thank you.
Peace out, Girl Scout. Hit the music. What I'd like now is for all you fat, out-of-shape, worldwide kiss-tards to keep the noise down while I show your ladies what a real sexy man looks like.
Listen, all you people out there sitting on rented furniture, settle down.
Cut the music. Anybody seen Richie? Anybody know why Richie did Bobby Lupo?